Hey, Facebook Live. Thanks for tuning in. I got to get two more things going. So hang on. Now, are we going on this? Yeah. Twitter Periscope and Facebook Live. Thanks for chilling in there. I'm going to grab one more thing and then we'll be ready to rock. Hello, everyone. This is Sam with MissionMonday.com. And I wanted to talk to you about failure. I think that I've written about failure. I think that I've mentioned failure a couple different times, different things, whether it's videos or podcasts or these little updates. But I was reminded of something I read, almost a year ago, and I thought this is maybe an interesting perspective to try to influence about failure. There is a lot of traffic out there, a lot of people who really get into the notion of celebrating failure, of embracing. I get where it's coming from. I think I've maybe even preached that somewhat too, that failure is part of the process, that we have to eliminate that fear of failure because it's how we move towards learning. It's how we get to that next win. But man, I think it's important to acknowledge that failure is also a really difficult pill to swallow. There are people out there that I am certain will never truly embrace failure because it feels too much like liking failure. And as much as I will embrace failure, as much as I will acknowledge failure as part of my process, as much as I will make sure that the students and the people that I take care of know that it's okay to fail, because you know what, if you don't take some risks, you're never going to get anywhere, and you've got to take some risks. And part of taking risks is failure might happen. But again, it's just hard. It's like nobody likes losing. And maybe somebody out there likes losing, but we don't play the game to lose. You play the game hopefully to learn, hopefully for enjoyment of the game, but you want to get good enough to win. We're all moving towards wins. Anyway, I mentioned this article that I read about a year ago. It's from a guy named David Tracy, and he's actually an automotive journalist. And one of the things he does that he likes to blog and write articles and he'll do videos about is he will buy just absolutely decrepit Jeeps. I mean, these are not four-figure Jeeps when it comes to the price. These are like three-figure Jeeps. He'll pick something up for like $800. And then using his substantial wrenching acumen and ingenuity, he will get these bad boys running and he will take them on these epic cross-continent journeys to go jeeping around somewhere. And he takes them off-road, takes them on-road. And things don't always go as planned. Sometimes there's failures along the way. And there was one about a year ago that the Jeep he had fixed up just was not running right. And he knew it was kind of a compression thing, and he was going through all the different things that it could be and getting advice from all these people online. And then he stumbled upon what the failure was. If I remember correctly, it was something within the timing cog, and how he described it. I will never forget this phrase. He described it as a fascinating failure. And I thought, a fascinating failure, that is just a brilliant way to describe this. And I think, even though some people may have trouble with embracing failure, with relishing failure, with loving failure as part of the process, you can hate failure and still be fascinated by it. This idea that a failure can be fascinating to you. I think it's a healthy place for our brains to be when it comes to understanding how failure works. So that's what I want to try to encourage you to do. If you had a hard time with embracing failure, with loving failure, maybe try to choose to be fascinated by it. Now, I want to talk really quick about that word, when you're fascinated by something. When you are fascinated by something, I think that's a great authentic inspiration to learning. One of the things that I end up getting fascinated by, jiu-jitsu. Whenever I see a new jiu-jitsu hold, I can go down a rabbit hole on YouTube and learn all these different variations, and all of a sudden 3 hours have gone by where I'm seeing these different scenarios, where I'm seeing these different positions, where I'm seeing these different angles. I'm like, holy cow, Renzo Gracie showed me that one thing on that one video that was only like 3 minutes long, and now I have analyzed it from all these different angles because I become fascinated by this element of this skill that I didn't quite have, and now I can acquire it. Now, that's not specifically about failure, that's about fascination. But if we put those two together and we look at our failures and we become fascinated by them, how did that failure happen? How did we end up here? What are the different facets of that? Holy cow, I've talked about facets, I've talked about failure, and I've talked about fascination. It's an alliteration kind of day. So, again, failure is part of what we do. Failure is part of who we are and what we have to experience. And I know that it's hard, that it's a hard pill to swallow. You don't want to have failure be part of the process. And there's so much traffic out there that's saying, oh, you got to love it. It's going to be great. It can stink. You can hate failure. But I think you can choose to be fascinated by it. And when you choose to be fascinated by that failure, you're going to learn and you're going to get to that next win. So maybe give that a shot next time you see a failure, next time you experience a failure. Try to access that fascination, and let's see how that goes. And I'd love to hear about how that went. As always, I'm going to tell you, hit up all our business at missionmonday.com. We're going to keep bringing this noise at you. By the way, you may have noticed we're doing a lot more voice content into this video stuff that some of you may be watching right now. Teachers, I'm going to encourage you. Maybe you got a birthday coming up. Maybe you got Father's Day coming up. Maybe you just deserve a present. I think somebody should maybe get you one of them smart speakers like an Amazon Echo. And then if your school will let you have it, maybe put that in your classroom. And I think a great way for you to be able to start your day when you get to your classroom, when school starts, is say, Alexa, ask AnyPod to play missionmonday.com. And then you're going to hear myself or Mark or both of us, and we're going to give you something that's going to be a great way to start your day every stinking day. At least that's the goal. If we don't, maybe it's a failure, but I'll try to be fascinated by it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Catch you next time.